My name is Courtney Lindsay, the creator of Finding Ben, a documentary about me finding my father at age 40. The documentary was such a hit that we decided to help other people tell their stories about them finding their father as well. Let me welcome you guys to I Found My Father Too. A Houston, Texas TSU legend. He was there when I was there, Mr. Harris. This is a special honor. I'm extremely excited to have an OG of mine be sitting next to me. And it's almost surreal because as the thing was unfolding for me when I was finding my father and kind of going through the documentary, I looked on Facebook and I saw that Mr. Harris was making a journey to the Motherland. I saw that he was, taking a trip, and in the caption, he was saying, "Hey, I'm going to go find my father." And I was like, "Oh my God, let me talk to him right now," And I didn't care that he was way off on a plane. I didn't know where he was. I didn't care what time it was in Nigeria. I was like, hey man, what you doing? You found your daddy, I found mine too. You know what I mean? Right. But Mr. Harris, thank you so much for coming and joining me. Thank you so much. What's going on, man?
My pleasure. What's going on is that I'm honored that you asked me to be a part of your podcast and your journey, because I saw your journey as well, and I looked at your father, and I saw his mannerisms. I said, Courtney not only favors him, but he's that creative spirit. I see a little bit of where Courtney gets it from. We have similar stories. Never knew that was like, hey, you didn't know who your natural father was. I didn't know we had that kinship. So that's kind of cool to see.
Huh?
It's a brotherhood, and it's a complicated story because we always hear about, especially with black folks. Okay, well, the father's always leaving, the father's absent, and we argue as to why that happens, whether it's slavery, whatever. But the fact that we have a unique story, and as children, we probably felt alone, and I'm the only person that's experiencing this. It's not the case.
Yeah. And then it's always that feeling of isolation is like, and most of the time in the black community is like, is that your dad? This your daddy or your real daddy?
Yeah.
Is that your stepdaddy? We the only ones that got to go through that. Is that your daddy or your daddy?
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And so to be able to actually find somebody.
Yeah.
And then, it kind of changes the entire narrative. It kind of, it's a game changer.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It's a game changer.
Yeah. And then, so I was 40 when I found my father. And so tell me about your journey.
When I found him?
When you found out.
When I found out, I always knew that my father was done around. And my mother never remarried. The father that was in my life was my grandfather, Eugene Harris, whose last name I take. My original name is Ogike, Ogike.
Okay.
That's my father's last name. It's an Igbo.
Okay.
It's Nigeria. So, I'm going to ask about my father. Like, you don't have a father. It's the 70s. He's like, your father's around. You don't have a father.
That's what she said?
That's what he told me. You don't have a father. And that was the kind of common theme. So when kids would ask me, where's your father? I'm like, I don't have a father. I remember one kid saying, everybody has a father, Danny. Like, okay, well, I was told I don't have one.
Wow.
So, and you would see other kids with their fathers. They look like their fathers. The fathers are coming to pick them up, or my father doesn't do that. And so I would, I didn't have that language. I didn't have that design in my vocabulary.
As a kid, how did that make you feel? Looking back in hindsight, as an adult, were you missing something when you're looking back, or as a kid, you was like, I got a grandfather, I'm not missing anything?
I remember appreciating the fact that my grandfather and my mother and I had the same last name.
Yeah.
And I remember some kids, if their father wasn't around, or they saw the father once, or they had the last name of their father, and like, how come you're Jemison and your mom Smith? Your sisters have. So I appreciated that, but I always knew something was missing because I come from my mother's side of the family. There were fathers present. My mother had her father, i.e. my grandfather. My cousins had their fathers. So I saw that interaction. The kids in the neighborhoods, a lot of them had their fathers. So something was missing.
What sparked the idea of you going to go seek a father, or even a name? Because according to your mom, you ain't had no daddy.
Yeah, there was a name. I remember them telling me, okay, I see my birth certificate for the first time.
What age was that?
About 8 or 9.
Okay.
And this was a time, this is 70s. I saw, Negro by my name. It would have the race of the child, Negro. Mother Negro, colored, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were just phasing that out. It wasn't African American or black.
Yeah.
And father was like African.
That's what it said.
Something like African, And I'm like, oh my God, because as you know, the black pride thing waxed and waned for decades.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I ain't letting people know that my father from Africa, because I think African booty scratcher and all that other stuff and everything they showed on the news.
You didn't want none of that.
All you saw was starving kids with big bellies.
Yeah.
Or they show you somebody on National Geographic.
Propaganda,
We didn't know there was that propaganda that was going on. You just saw topless people, naked people, dust, and not great, and just, primitive stuff. You're like, oh man. And
That's
there was nothing being taught in schools. Like, I'm not going to be associated with that. So people would say, well, where's your father? He dead. Well, what was your father? He's half Cherokee, half black, dark as I am. I'm telling people, back then, everybody got black people got a Cherokee. And so, look, I found my grandmother had some Cherokee. Yeah, I'm Cherokee and black. You're pretty dark to be a Cherokee.
Yeah.
So I kept that in and told different stories about, made different fantasies.
My daddy work out of town. I don't know about your dad. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So that's about 9, 8. That's that inquisitive age. You saw the birth certificate.
Yeah.
No name though.
Saw the name, everything. But
so the name was there.
Everything, but that person was around. I asked my mother. I have to say her name, Geraldine Harris, who was my hero, and you have to understand, at that time, you didn't say, there was nothing on the radio to say, I'm a single mother here trying to make it, and they give you a prize or anything.
Yeah.
You couldn't. My mother had a hard time finding apartments for us because you have kids, or you can't get this apartment. You can't rent this apartment. You get a job, okay, where's your husband? So all that stuff was going on. Mm-hmm. You look at this housing discrimination. People ask, where's your father? And they look at her a certain way. Mm-hmm. So she was always, the reason she said you don't have a father is because, hey, this person's not around. When I would challenge her, say, hey, where is he at? When she was here, she would do the queenly thing and say, if I knew where he was, I'd take you to him.
She told you that?
She told me that. And this is a time where, like I said, you're looked down upon as a parent, a woman.
Yeah.
Because with a child, on your own, you kind of seen this maybe promiscuous. Mm-hmm. You didn't plan. Something's wrong with you. So you have this life. You have this mark on you. Yeah.
So we get through high school. We get through college. When did you actually?
There was always bits and pieces. The name a relative who was in Nigeria said, he wrote a letter, said, I saw Danny's father, he's alive and well. This is his address. He's teaching.
So wait a minute, man, you skipping, man. You skipping.
I gotta skip. I can't get you. Right.
So wait a minute. So a relative of yours went to Nigeria.
Because the relative, I guess I gotta go back a little bit.
Come on, go on.
How I got here is my mother was in nursing school in San Francisco.
Okay.
And she was staying with her relative, my grandfather's cousin and her husband.
Okay.
Her husband's from Nigeria.
Okay.
So they go out. He has Nigerian friends and goes
to
a Nigerian party.
Now it's coming together.
It's the 60s.
It's coming together now.
My mother's, brown, slim, beautiful.
Yeah.
And, she sees this, dark skin, brown skin, Nigerian brother, get to know each other. And, here I am. And they date for a while, and then when she finds out about me, he says, it ain't mine. Mm. And, she's like, what do you mean? You're the only person I've been with. So, whole paternity suit thing.
So was he a student or was he?
Good question. He was working on his PhD in what it was called Francophone Studies and French Studies. In fact, he wrote the first, they were protesting for Black Studies program. He wrote the first curriculum for Black Studies at UCLA. So that's how all this happened. So when he says, look, I don't want nothing to do with it, I'm gone, whatever. Family said, okay, take this last name away, you're Harris, you belong to us.
And so she went back to the East Coast.
She went back to Cleveland, Ohio, where I grew up.
Okay.
And so the relative contacted us and said, I've seen him. This is the address to the college where he is. Danny can write him. My first name is Daniel, but my family name is Danny. I'm like 19.
Okay, so 19 years pass.
Yeah.
The relative finally makes contact. Hey, because they know.
Yeah.
And then you're 19 years old.
So I send this letter. I remember dropping it in a mailbox.
You wrote the letter.
I wrote the letter
because you want to make a little contact.
I was like, look, okay, let me deal with this. Let me make this contact. And I remember literally being in Baltimore. And I'm getting ready to drop. I was so scared to drop this letter in the mail because I was like, damn, this is my only chance. This is all I got. Because before all I had was a name. Yeah. And I dropped it, and a buddy of mine was like, laughed, like, really, like, kind of laughed like this was the big deal. I'm like, he didn't understand 2 years later.
Understand the weight of that.
Yeah, he's a jokester too, so he didn't really understand the profundity of how that hit me, just dropping that letter in. So never got a response.
Yeah.
And when I was at TSU in student activities, I went to California for a conference. I'm not sure if I knew you by then. Met a friend there, and from California. We hooked up later on, and she's I went to San Francisco. That's where I was born. I was like, hey, look, I need to get to San Francisco because I've been there since I was a baby. She said, oh, come check me out. So I checked her out. We started talking. So she said, tell me about your family. And I'm telling about my mother. I said, well, this is my father's story, but okay. And this is when Google and all those things just come out. And she said, oh, really? So, what's his name? I said, well, his name is Aloysius Ogike. I said, and she's typing in the computer. I said, but you probably won't find him. She was like, here he is.
Wow.
Bing. Like I almost had a stroke and a tear was like, about to come out.
The tear was just hanging on right there?
I was like, stay inside. Yeah. Stay inside.
Did a
I'm a
picture
man.
pop up or just his information?
His info. And I got that info and I called Berkeley and just see if I could get a yearbook picture or something because I'd never seen a picture of him at all and couldn't find anything. So there's that. And then one day I got on to Google had something called whitepages.com. I think it still exists.
I remember that, yeah.
And so I typed in Ogike, O-G-I-K, and there was two numbers. One didn't work. And another number worked and called it and somebody answered. Called again and somebody answered. And I said, okay, hello? And I said, she said, hello? And I said, is Aloysius Ogike there? And it's spelled Aloysius. I'm not sure if it's Aloysius or Aloysius or whatever because he was pronounced different. And she was like, there's no one here by that name. And she said, who are you looking for? I said, click. I said, I was just scared, just whatever. The hell, click. So, and something said to me, look, stupid, just call back, let them know what's going on. Because you just didn't want to, I figured this was my last chance. Yeah. And if this doesn't work out, it'll always be a mystery. Yeah. So I didn't want to face the possibility of the ladder. So I called back. I said, Lois Yogi. She said, okay, so who are you looking for? And I told her, I said, look, I just told her everything. She said, okay. She says, no one here by that name. She says, but I do have an uncle Aloy. I said, Aloy? Aloy? She said, okay. And she said, tell me a little bit about yourself. I said, okay. She said, when were you born? 1968. Where? California, San Francisco. She said, I'm going to call my mother. And I said, okay. And she calls me back. Her name is Adure. It's my cousin. She says, I told my mother who you are. I can't believe I have a cousin. She just starts crying over the phone.
Wow.
She said, my mother wants you to call her.
Okay.
And so call her. We talk. And no, when she called back the first time, she said, do you have any children? I'm like, wait a minute, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I had my oldest son. I was just on my oldest son. I was 36 at the time. And I said, okay. But that's when I got the call back when we spoke. So I spoke to the mom. She's like, okay. So you have any children? Okay. How old? Okay. When this happened? I said, okay. So yeah, sounds about right. So I'm going to give you my address.
It's the aunt now, right?
It's the aunt, yeah. Actually, his cousin, which is basically aunt.
Cousin, aunt, yeah.
And so I send her a picture of me.
Yeah.
You know, so she's like, send me a picture of you. And she had this beautiful Nigerian accent. And I had the answering machine. Remember the answering machine?
Mm-hmm.
Not the voicemail, the answering machine. Like the
Yeah.
I hear on there, because she was in Philly. She was like, Donald, I got your picture in the mail today. And there's no doubt about it, baby. Give me a call. So I call her, and I'm like, you know, she said, yeah, this is, wow, you. And I said, okay. But I didn't want her to, I wanted to let her know that I'm not trying to scam her.
Okay. Yeah,
you know, I'm not some random person, you know. And she said,
want real connection.
Real connection, let you know I'm a legitimate person.
Absolutely.
And I said, I'm going to send you my birth certificate. And she said, you don't need to send me no birth certificate. I know who I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I said, no, ma'am, I need to send you. She said, do not send me a birth certificate. She said, when you go to the village, people will know who you are. I said, okay. She said, I'm going to put you in contact with your brothers.
Yeah. And now, when is this perspective, like time frame?
I'm 36.
Okay, this 36. Okay, babe.
So it's all still the same time frame. So she said, I'm going to put you in contact with your brothers. So I'm an only child. So I'm like,
you got brothers.
Yeah, I got brothers.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very naive. I didn't know that back then. You know, I didn't know I was, you know, so I call. No, I get a call from, he says, and the brother calls and says, hey, how you doing? You know, what's up? And, you know, hey, I'm like, hey, brother, you tell me. He's like, oh, okay. He said, we get to talking, and it's kind of like, yeah, man, this, that, and the other. He said, okay, tell me a little bit. And he was like, how's your mother? You know, where's she at? And I was, you know, she's okay. So I said, I'm going to send you a picture of me.
You said that?
Yeah. And you send me a picture of you. We have this kind of, sure. And I send them a picture, and because they're in California, in Los Angeles area, and I didn't get anything. And talked to him. I said, hey, did you get the picture? And now you get into the juice of the thing. He said, yeah, I got the picture. He's like, I said, okay, what, you going to send me a picture or whatever? He said, I talked to my dad. He told us not to send you any pictures. I said, oh, okay. And he says, I really can't, you know, you really can't. I said, what do you think? Do I look like him? He said, well, you really can't tell from the picture. You know, he said, you look more like my Uncle Bunny. And so that's when, you know, that part of you kicks in. Yeah. Because my mother is she's never badmouthed this person. Yeah. And if I was in her shoes, I'd badmouth this person. My grandfather's like, he ain't that ball down. He ain't that ball pair of shoes for you. Don't deal with him. Yeah. So I'm like, my mother didn't know your Uncle Bunny. Don't say. So this conversation, and he was in law school at the time. And the brother.
The brother, yeah.
And my cousin saying to me, he said, Danny, he said, remember, you're not talking to your brother. You're talking to a Nigerian young man who just realized he's not the oldest anymore.
Absolutely.
And when you're the oldest in certain cultures, you take over everything. Wealth, you in charge.
So it's not beneficial for him to find an older brother.
Not beneficial for him to find an older brother. Very good. Well put. And so I'm not realizing this.
Because you're American, you just like, hey,
And my
it's
cousin
about love. It's about, you know.
my cousin's like, he's in law school. Guess what he's gonna be? He's gonna be a lawyer. He's gonna be a lawyer to find out he ain't got no doggone. He's not the oldest,
Oh, yeah.
so he's ready. He's already on the. I'm trying to figure this
get the
out.
paperwork together.
Yeah, he's trying to get stuff together to get you out of this. So we had talked back and forth, and he put me on the phone with the other brother. And he's like, well, he was kind of off-putting. Well, this has happened in our family before. So,
Oh, Lord.
So yeah. So this is, you're trying to find your father. So that's the guy I don't look anything like. It's, I look, we look nothing
Oh,
alike.
yeah. Twin right there.
Yeah. So, so I'm like, okay, some time goes by, and we have some words, and he said he wants you to call him
The dad now.
Dad.
Okay.
And I'm like, because there'd been some few conversations of
And
discrepancies
you hadn't talked to dad the whole time.
the whole time. We have had other conversations, and I'm like,
But
and
now it's rough now because now leading up to dad talking, that's not doing anything for that inner boy.
yeah, it's not doing anything for the inner boy. Well put.
Now what it's doing for that this man, it's roughing the man up though. Right?
You read
So the man that's about to get ready to talk to this new dad is not doing nothing for him.
So back then, this was so you're talking 20-something years ago, and I'm like, there's no WhatsApp, you're gonna make an international conversation.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do. So you told me to call him. I'm like, hell, you don't need to call me. How about this? We go back and forth and this other thing. He said, well, okay, we talk again. He said, well, he wants you to call him. Call him. I said, okay. I finally say, all right, give me the number.
Yeah.
He calls me back. He says, well, he wants you to write him. I said, okay. That, right? So what I do is I make copies of pictures from when I was born to that present time. And I write a letter, and I put in a letter to him, and I say, you need to tell your children the truth. This is who I am. This is what happens, that and the other.
He dealing with
Be a
shame
man.
too.
Be a man. He's dealing with shame.
Yeah, he dealing with shame.
But so I sent him that. And that was no letter return. And now, mind you, people blame things on the certain countries that, the mail systems aren't as good and things a little corruption here and there.
Yeah.
So
the technology
is different, but then, this
yeah.
didn't get an answer. And then I talked to my aunt, his cousin.
Yeah.
And I went to visit her, and she would say, it's a shame that part of the family just doesn't want to acknowledge you. So that's where I was stuck for a while in that moment. And I met the older brother in person before. After that, I happened to be in California for another conference, and I'm trying to look at him. He's looking at me. And I'm like, is he trying to figure out if I'm this guy's son? But
Scar and Mufasa.
yeah, and so.
but you know what though? I tell you this, man. The amount of resilience that you have, is goddamn impeccable. Because you just keep coming, you know what I mean? I think it just kind of like shows like that inner boy looking for like that
That's who that
missing
was.
puzzle piece.
That was it.
Was it. Like the little boy that's chasing the older cousins. And they always, punking them and beating them up, but they steady come. You know what I mean? But it's like you just steady coming. So that the resilience though.
It was something that bothered me.
Yeah.
It's something that was unsettling. It never, even when I met you, it's all, when you have conversations about people with fathers or, you're being a father figure or somebody, it's always that word father, daddy. When I hear people call somebody daddy or dad or that was, I would hear my mother call her father daddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have nobody called daddy.
Yeah.
There was no, I want that feeling. Everybody else had somebody called daddy, even if they referred to their father, even if they hated their father. Yeah. I hate daddy. You man, daddy always get on my damn, I don't have that feeling. I don't even know what that all means. So that's what, my father even said the same thing to you when I finally got. He said, man, he says, I admire you, and he apologized over and over again. So, for not being there. But
So let's fast forward a little bit to when he finally was a little receptive. What age was that he was receptive to like having a conversation, or even answering a letter or a call, or what did that look like?
I was probably late 40s. He answered
For you?
For me.
The first time?
First time where he answered, like Facebook came out, and he answered a Facebook.
He had Facebook?
Facebook, you know.
So he got him a Facebook account.
Got him a Facebook. So
Okay.
he answered once. Hey, how you doing? Hi, how are you? Fine. How are you? Wow, big deal. But
so that was the first time you seen him?
That was the first time I saw his.
When's the first time you saw him?
Saw his face?
Yes.
The outtakes of photos from a GQ magazine. Because this apparently, I had a cousin. I have a cousin. Mm-hmm. Two cousins who are in the same predicament. And my grandfather's cousin, who was like another cousin, she happened to be reading a GQ magazine. She was like, "What's your father's last name?" You know, this is Aunt Louise. She knows the Harrises, but she doesn't know the Ogikes. But she knows the stories. And she would, I was like, Ogike, she said, I think this is, she's an old lady. She said, I think this is about you. These people may be related to you, because, you know, they're Nigerians. So, and your father Nigerian, so this is you. I'm like, oh my God, there's a million Nigerians.
Yeah.
Louise, that's what we call her. God rest her soul, beautiful person. So I'm gonna send you this article. So I'm reading this article about this kid who found out he's, quote unquote, they kind of made it kind of like it's royalty. Because this young man found out that his father was a chief. So I'm reading this story and I was like, oh. And then I said, what's she talking about? I said, that sounds like, I said, oh, Ogike. I said, well, that's pretty close. Maybe it's another Ogike. I'm thinking Ogike is a normal Nigerian name. Whatever. Then I'm looking at the thing, and then all of a sudden it said he met his uncle Eloy. I was like, Aloysius, who was a professor in California. Bam.
And that was it.
That's it. So I said, I look at the outtakes of these pictures. So you go like online, and I remember being in Cleveland visiting my mom, and I was over at a friend's house and found this picture. We printed it out. It was all these people. And there was this one dark-skinned brother, bald head, among the brothers, with glasses, you know, sitting in like a weird, kind of like a rugby shirt like this, was just like me. And tear comes to my eye. I'm like, that's my father.
That's him.
My buddy Damon says to me, he says, how do you know? That's the first time I saw a picture.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's him. This guy looks like me. I said, how do you know? So I got in contact with the guy, the article, his name is Marty, my cousin. I said, left him a voicemail. I think we're related. He calls me back. We are related. I talked to your father. And your father said something about, I have a son in Houston.
Okay.
So,
now,
anyway.
I just got chills, and let me tell you why.
Why?
Because it felt like, just in our conversation, the first time he acknowledged you as his son, and it felt like that seemed like that was the first time he acknowledged you.
Thinking about that, yeah, that is
to somebody else.
yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. And I said, look, I told him about these pictures. I was like, hey, this guy, you know, second from the left, that's him, right? Like, no, that's Uncle Bonnie face. Uncle Bunny. I said, well, which one's him? I'm like, oh, this guy over here. He said, no, that's my dad. This guy here? Yeah. He had hair, so I'm pissed already. You leave me now and shit, you can't even let me in here, keep my hair?
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, that's your dad. That's when I asked the guy, that's your dad. I'm like, oh, no wonder my brother said I look more like Bonnie.
Yeah.
Bonnie. I said, okay, I'll give him that, but still, he knew some other things.
Yeah.
So when I see him, it may go down.
Oh, man.
I mean, you know, Cain and Abel. So, so that's that part of the story. And again, like I said, we had talked through. My father and I had, but I still was in contact with his family. So there was a cousin I had here in Houston I was close to. His Chucky, who passed. Eventually, and I have a cousin in Austin. Same story, Uncle Bunny's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is
So all these years, still no contact with Dad?
Still no contact, still no talk. I was 50 years old.
Wow.
When my father decided to make a call, and to me, I think it was either his cousin, the one I told you, kind of put us all together, gave my information, or he just called through Facebook, and he tried to say, "Hi, Daniel, this is your father, Aloysius. I just want to let you know that there was circumstances beyond my control, so do you forgive me?" So it's like talking to you back in the day when you had done something wrong, trying to talk real fast. I said, "Damn it, this hustler shit." You know what I mean? I was like, God. And I was like, I didn't want to lose the connection so bad, so I didn't insult him.
Yeah.
Like, you left my mother hanging, you left me hanging, this, that, and the other. You know, but I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess we can get there. But, you know, I'm listening to him. He said, yeah, so we talked. And so we would talk on Facebook, and eventually we would video chat on Facebook. And then he was like, "Oh, you're gonna come see me? Gonna come down?" I'm like, "Shoot, why don't you take a trip? You know, I mean, come on, and did all this. You didn't deny me to your kids, and why don't you, or send for me or something?"
Because let me ask you this though, real quick. How did you feel, even though it was quick, and it felt like he was trying to, coerce a forgiveness out of you? How did it feel?
My mind was blown to hear a voice that was the half a part of my creation. Yeah. So that was it. But then I was like, "This is you coming on some BS." That's some bullshit. Come on, man. Like, come on. I'm grown. I'm 50. Yeah. The baby is 50. So you should be able to
come a little more correct.
Come on, like, hey. But you know what the crazy part was? He would fly to the States periodically to go to see his doctor. And some people say, "Well, I saw your father here in Boston." I'm like, damn. Send me a picture or something like that, and I would try to get him on Facebook, like, "Hey, I heard you were here.
What's up?
What's up?" So there's that. So then eventually it came down to, I'm going to come visit. We talked. I said, "I'm going to come visit," and that's what happened this past January.
Okay. All right. Whew, man. Look, man, I'm really, I was at some parts of this story, I'm clenching my
like,
seat,
get to the point.
No, it's a roller coaster, because I'm just like, oh, where we going? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a roller
coaster. Because, I didn't know where the story was going. You know what I mean? Like, it was that much of an emotional roller coaster, because one part of my heart beating fast, I'm like, you got him. Yeah. Then it's like, that wasn't him. You know? Yeah. And then, like, all these happenstances, it felt like a spy movie. like you seeing them through the trees, and then you almost got him, and then he done vanished again. So you get to the point you about to get ready to go see him. How did that feel to be able to you click and purchase that ticket? You hit that mouse, to buy that ticket. Now you about to get ready to go see this man.
It was a lot, because you hear the stories about kidnappings in places. Right? Nigeria.
So you go straight to kidnapping?
I'm like, okay, these people, they ain't my cousins.
Yeah.
Who gonna come get me?
Yeah.
If something happens. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Yeah. That's why I'm talking about roller coaster.
Yeah.
We going up this roller coaster. After that person, I don't know what's gonna happen, because I made a couple, arrange with a relative, one here and one in Nigeria. So I'm talking on the phone, but I don't know you.
Yeah.
I don't know you when it come down to it. And a couple people ask me, "Hey, where you going? Yeah. Who you gonna be with? How you know this is it? You sure?" I'm like, "I'm paid a couple $1,000s for the ticket. I might as well risk my life. That's my pocket talking." Yeah. You did all this. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But it was scary.
Scary. Yeah. Scary in the financial, or scary in the physical, or scary emotional, or all of the above?
Scary physical, scary emotional, because I don't know how people are going to receive me. yeah, you related to us, so.
Yeah.
And I'm in a different culture.
Way across the goddamn water.
Yeah. I'm in a different mindset.
Yeah.
I think African American.
Yeah.
I don't think Nigerian. I don't think Igbo. I don't think, we're Igbo. I don't speak, I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
I don't know the culture. So I don't know when somebody, I have to keep my eyes open, like somebody's for me or against me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Man, that's got to take some guts, some bravery, some vulnerability,
More vulnerability than all that.
Man, to open yourself up like that to get ready to go over there.
Yeah.
I remember looking at the story, because I was following it. I was following the saga.
Yeah.
On Facebook. And I was looking at just the sheer happiness on your face. I didn't see scary. I didn't see nervousness. I seen happy. I seen joy, And I guess maybe I saw it after the fact, you know what I mean? But I seen just straight joy on your face the entire time. And then when you video messaged me, from over there, I was just like, man, this man is not 50. Yeah, this joker has got down on me 12. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Doing cartwheels, My dad just got a chicken over here.
Yeah.
And he about to cook it,
When I saw that and your story, I'm like, I got to call this guy.
Yeah.
Because we got a similar story.
Yeah.
And I try to call people who I knew. And I also, when I was videoing it, I was, people always say, I've gone to Africa, I've gone to this country in Africa, but nobody ever showed you the pictures. What is it like? Because we always talk about going to the motherland. But nobody, I wanted people to see what it's like, what I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. So I'll stick my camera out to one of my uncles, like, you don't want to stick your camera out to one. They're gonna snatch your phone down there. They're gonna snatch your phone. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll be doing this and that. But I wanted you to see what I saw.
Yeah.
So like when you went to Cuba, I remember thinking I remember calling like, wow, you went to Cuba. I wanted to see
what he was.
I wanted to see what you saw. I want you to see I wanted to see the black people in Cuba.
Yeah.
I wanted to go. I want to see those. So I was like, I want to give everybody a feel of what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm. And so, how did it feel when you first saw your dad? Like, what was that encounter? Did you high five him, handshake him? Did you run and jump in his arms? What was that feeling? What was that encounter? Tell me about that first meeting with your dad.
Emotional U-turn about to take place. I stayed in a sanctuary in the Catholic Church because they're Catholic. Mm-hmm. And you can't stay everywhere because if folks know where you are, you're an American, you may certain place you got to know. So my uncle had me stay there, and we had to prepare this whole thing to see your father. You can't just, because at first they were going to say, because a first cousin of mine had passed, and the funeral was happening at that time while I was there, they said, well, we'll just bring you to the funeral and spring you on him. And so he can't run or this, that, and the other.
So he knew you was coming, though?
I told him I was coming, but he stopped answering calls for a point. I guess I'm going to write this down.
After you had already bought the ticket and everything?
I bought the ticket. I said, I'm coming, because it's toward the end of his life. I'm going to see him whatever to say, look, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be a love fest or it's going to be a hate fest. It's going to be either one. I'm going down there to see who this is.
Yeah.
When my uncle's like, hey, we're going to surprise him at the funeral so we can't, people can't deny things. You'll be around the family. Everybody gets to see you. And he's like, no, we're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. So we had the church administrators take me to my father. So my father's immobile. He can sit up. He can barely walk, but he's still, he's not healthy. He can talk. Mm-hmm. So we go to the house with the priest and church officials, knock on the door, and they call him. And they say, we have somebody here for you. Who? We got somebody here for you. I can't come. And I'm like, first thing I said, this motherfucker. I said, I was getting ready. I said, look, this is that BS. I told the people, the church officials, I said, see, he knows I'm here.
Church, man, so you got to watch your mouth.
No, I'm in front of his face. No, I'm in front of his house.
So he said he couldn't come outside?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because he
didn't know it was you, though.
He didn't know it was me. But look, this is the church officials know who he was. He knew the church officials.
Yeah.
So, but he's like, I can't come downstairs. This is my, but the person I have working for me isn't here, so I'm pretty much locked in the house. I have to stay where I am until the morning. But I was like, that's some bullshit. I was like, this, he knows I'm here. Somebody told him something. Somebody, and they're like, no. We just wait a day or two. Wait a day or two? Yeah, this is Nigeria. This is whole different thinking. You can't bring your African American black mind in this.
Because we want it right now.
We want it right now. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. And so we leave, getting ready to leave, and the car passes and stops. And God gets out and says, can I help you? And I was like, he said, I know who you are. I know who you are. I said, oh, this crap, this must be my brother. I know who you are. He says, then I recognized, like, oh, this is my cousin, Uncle Bunny's son. He said, how come you look so much like my father? He said, if you're my brother, I will acknowledge you right now. If you acknowledge, this is this big, burly Nigerian, like, I'm like, no. I got my birth certificate right here. I'm Aloysius' son. I'm pouring in my father's house. I said, I'm his oldest son. He said, oh, I'm not in all that. He said, I'm not on all that older stuff. He calmed down right away because the oldest thing means something. He said, your brothers are here. Let them know that you're here because it's Christmas time. I'm like, nah, they don't want anything to do with me. And he was like, he said, I felt you. He said, I knew you. He said, these Nigerians had this thing where they say, I feel you. Yeah. I feel the blood. I felt you here. I felt you here. Yeah. So we're in this dirt road. And so he gets in his car to go down the dirt road to the main road. And we follow him because we can't go around him. The priest is driving him. And then he stops in the middle of the street. Now, mind you, this is getting evening time, getting dark. He stops, and we right behind him. He stops, opens the car door, and some people come in the car door. I said, oh, shit, this the setup. Just the setup right here. I said, I ain't got nothing. I said, I'm out here. Look, this is. Then also talk to somebody, kind of look behind. Then all of a sudden,
the priest official still with you.
But the little priest. But I'm like,
you by yourself. I'm
by myself.
Yeah.
And so he closes the door to get, they get in, and they drive down. We follow him. Then he pulls off. We go to almost to the main road. Then he pulls over, gets out of his car, looks at me, and we're passing him, getting ready to go past him. He looks at me, pulls out a gun, shoots it in the air, and looks at me with this crazy look. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit. I said, over here. He flexing, huh? I said, what's going on? The priest said, he's a skinny guy. He's got a weird voice. He says, I said, is this about to happen? He says, no. It's nothing violent. He's acknowledging you. The son has returned home. That's a salute. I was like, I told other people this story, and only people who got it was my hood people. Oh, that nigga was saluting you, huh? I was like, oh, this is universal? I'm like, but I was like, y'all need to find another way to welcome people. Because I'm in Nigeria, I don't know. I thought this is a communist country. I think people can't have guns. He looking crazy. So I go to my room, and the next day we come, and it's crazy. So we go, and they let me in. I'm walking in the compound. I'm like, oh, this is a nice house. Look, it's a big, nice house. And
now you back at Dad's house.
Dad's house. We go upstairs. He says, they say, Prof, because they professor. Prof, you know who this is? He looks at me and says, he looks familiar. It's like, oh, that boy. I was like, ooh, that accent is fly. He looks familiar. He said, oh, that's my son, Dan. Dan, come here, sit on my lap. Sit on my lap? Come here, sit on my lap. So that's what you see in that picture right there.
So you're sitting on your dad's lap at 57,
57. Going on 58 in January.
Why you gotta look so uncomfortable?
Because I'm big as I am, he's frail. Sometimes it looks like I'm using a bathroom on him or something. Then it's like so he said, sit on my lap. And I'm thinking to myself, I gotta do what this guy says. That's my first instinct.
So let me ask you this. So how'd that make you feel? Like outside the awkwardness. Awkwardness. Little boy, you better do what this man says.
It's how those natural instincts kick in.
Yeah.
So we sit down and talk. Like, wow, this is great. You know, he looks at me like, hey, you know, this is really good that you're here. But he just goes in and talk. I meet his cousin, who kind of favors me too. I'm like, I'll be damn, we all kind of. Let me see this picture.
And so your dad still got his hair, Uncle Bunny bald head.
You see how he did that? Your dad still got his hair. Here you are, clean. As long as I know you, you been clean. You ain't had one wave in the 20 years I known you. You ain't had one wave, Mr. Harris. Your dad, you showed this to your father now.
Mr. Harris. But you know, I have an uncle, spitting image of me. I'm talking about we had the same haircut, had the same everything, man. And I'm like, God, dog. I mean, it was
exactly.
My dad. I mean, I do look like him, but my uncle, I look just like my uncle. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And sometimes my dad be like, hey, don't try to take my son. You know, that's my son. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's just, that's how the genetics are. Yeah.
That's what I told the boss. Some people look like their uncle.
So let me ask you this. Did you ever get a chance to, you know, have you gotten a chance to reconcile your emotions or your feelings with your dad, or would that be too far out of pocket with the hierarchy and like how, you know?
We've had conversations where there's things prior to me visiting that I was like, okay. Even while there, he said some things that I wasn't cool with. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you slide with that.
Give him a pass, yeah. Because some stuff is just like let the elders have the
but at the same time, like, nah, my mom. You know, I'm Geraldine's son.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a mama's boy. I didn't realize this, but my Gmail is geraldinesboy@gmail.com. Yeah, you don't get the mama's boy. I'm like, but you know, I always gave her a hard time growing up. Yeah. I was never that close to her. Yeah. And what's remarkable, it's, you know, you feel vulnerable. You're going through all this emotionally. You're trying to reconcile this with your father. There's certain things I reconcile, but she reconciled. Mm-hmm. My thing is, the other part is this is a part of my mother's story. Yeah. Because it's a great part of this is my mother's story, because my mother not only was a single mother dealing with this African child, Nigerian child growing up, having to answer the questions, having to deal with his behaviors, because I had behaviors associated with not having that father. Mm-hmm. I had behaviors associated with just being a kid, just trying to reconcile all this. Because of her spirit, and add this onto it, my mother is mentally ill. So she had to deal with that stigma, dealing with that, still being a nurse, raising her child. You know, we just had just enough to get by. Yeah. You know, so sometimes you need a little help, and everybody who helps you, whether it be friends or family, aren't always nice when they give that. Yeah. They're not always sympathetic. Yeah. So she put up with all that. Yeah. And I remember telling her at one point, I said, Mom, I'm going to change. She's in a nursing home now. I said, Mom, I'm going to change my last name to Ogike, Daniel Harris Ogike. And the name that he gave me is Chinyedam, God protect him. I told her that. She's in this nursing home. And I'm telling you, to say I'm going to change my last name to this and add this on, I would be like insulted. But I remember telling her, I said, Mom, I'm going to change it to Chinyedam Daniel Harris Ogike. She said, tell me the last name again. I said, Harris Ogike. And I hear her whisper on the other end of the phone, I love it. I said, Mom, what'd you say? She said, I love it. I said, but Mom, I know that's that's got to be that tension, because you know you did. She said, you know what she told me? She said, Danny, I don't have a problem with anything you do.
Come on.
And I'm like, what strength is that?
Come on, man.
What? I mean, here you are in a nursing home, not the best place that you want to be. Yeah. Dealt with these demons. You dealt with this. You dealt with this kid. You know, my grandfather helped me be a man. Other relatives help with certain things, but you dealt with this. You dealt with the brunt of this shit. Yeah. When I was acting up in school, this, that, and the other, how do you explain African? All this stuff. Yeah. Which was not, like I said, it wasn't no Tupac song, Dear Mama, when I was growing up. It was, you're dealing with all this on top of my hard-headed ass. Mm-hmm. But here you are still like, hey, this is who you are. And I'm not only accepting it, I'm embracing it. And I said, she said, I love it. So I showed her the pictures from Nigeria too when I went recently. She was like, oh, great. I had, she didn't get a chance to talk to my father. She talked to my uncle, and they very welcoming. So it's a beautiful. That's what amazes me out of this whole thing. Yeah. What amazes you, like, oh, you stick to it. This, you really just pursued this. My father, but it's like,
but I see where it's coming from.
Yeah,
Mom, resilience, man. That like that's some serious resilience.
That's love.
Yeah,
love. I love you so much.
Yeah,
this is who you are. So,
man, appreciate you. You dropped some gems, man. Great storyteller. Great gem dropper,
almost gem dropper.
Yeah. You dropped some gems. man. One more thing, and I'm gonna leave. We're gonna leave with this. If you could tell anybody watching one piece of advice, if they have any doubt, or if somebody told them you don't got a daddy, if it's some type of inkling, to the fatherless, to the unknown, whatever. If there's any bit of advice, what would that be?
That's a profound question, Courtney. Realize that none of this is your fault, and that you do have a father, you do have a mother, you do have parents, whether they are, prominent people, or they're just barely making it by, and they're street people. Mm-hmm. This missing parent, this parent that you are from greatness. It's not your fault. What happened, it's not your fault. Mm-hmm. You're taking the brunt of this. You're taking a lot of this, but you're not the cause of it. You're the gift. Mm-hmm. And everybody doesn't know how to handle a gift.
Yeah.
We're all gifts, all of us. Mm-hmm. That's what you have to realize, that we're a gift. Yeah. And treat yourself as a gift, and whether that person acknowledges you, you find that person turns out not to be wanting to be that, but you're the gift. Man, that's where you had to come through.
Man, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
And thanks for leaving us on that last note. You're the gift.
Yeah, you're the gift.
Man, thank you guys for watching. I found my father too. Till next time, let's go.